Hi, my name is Ebony Douglas, and I represent ENDTs and Ebonionics.
I'm Stephanie. I represent I'm Aware.
And together, we make Group Economics. Check out our gear today.
Yes.
See, I know we be having different shirts on all the time, so this is something different. This is a little something. This was made by none other than Stephanie. The last few shirts I made with the group Econ, that's our actual logo. This is just, we call this the keys. So this is like keys to success and all that. So you want some apparel, definitely buy it. Again, what we started off as is a t-shirt printing company. We both print t-shirts, we do different styles. And then we said, hey, we want to get together and we want to make sure that we are helping our community.
Absolutely.
So not only do we print shirts, if you buy a shirt, it goes towards helping those less fortunate. We do mobile Friendsgivings, we do giveaways, we participate in a book bag giveaway for the children. We give out warm weather wear in the wintertime. And we just working to build like different things for the community, you know, make awareness. Like this is one of the things that we want to bring awareness. So networking, so our main goal is to network with like-minded successors to accomplish economic growth and helping others while helping others to obtain skills, because it's absolutely necessary.
Absolutely.
It's necessary. You got to gain those skills. You don't, how many people know that you don't stop learning just because you become a certain age?
No.
You graduate from school and you're like, I'm done. I ain't got to learn no more.
You learn something new literally every day.
You become a parent, you learn something new. You get a new job, you learn something new. You buy a new car, you learn something new. You get a new gadget, you learn something new. You're going to learn something new every day. Every day. It might have been, I ain't telling you how old I am, but I was today years old when I found out Warren G and Dr. Dre were actually half brothers.
Half brothers? I was going to say cousins, but okay.
No, they're brothers.
They're half brothers.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
And I didn't know that. They have different mothers, same father. You know how that go.
Oh, okay.
Today, years old. I ain't telling you.
Myself too.
I ain't telling you how old I am. But you know, I'm just saying. I was today years old when I found that out.
Dope.
So see how I learned something new. You never stop learning. I know that was just a fun fact, but it's other things you can learn. Yeah, it's other things you can learn. Like someone taught, like if you watch, I know this is the TikTok nation. You put a piece of foil in your sink and like around your sink. And you take the old grease and the oil and pour it in there, wait for it to dry for, a little bit in like 5 minutes. And now you got your grease trapped into the foil and you can just throw it out.
Don't have to clog that sink up, because you'll learn something new, how much that plumbing bill will cost.
I was a year old. So a year ago old when I learned that. Because if I tell you how old I was a year ago, you're going to know how old I was. So I was a year ago, a year old ago when I found that one out. So, but Steph, what is our main topic and reason for even coming and bringing this podcast to everyone?
Well, our main topic for this blog and podcast is to bring the perception and how it drives our life and our choices and how we perceive things in our everyday life. Yeah, so perception, you're going to hear that word a lot, and everything we talk about ties into perception. So we've had a couple topics. We spoke like 2 episodes ago, we talked about the thug, THUG, not Bone Thugs and Harmony, East 99. We're not talking about that, even though we are from Cleveland. Yes.
Just know that. And then we talked about how the thug also can become haters. But the acronym thug stands for
traumatized humans unable to grieve.
And they become haters who are having anger towards everyone's rise to success. So if you're traumatized and unable to grieve, you tend to hate on everyone else, meaning you start having anger towards everybody else's rise to success. We talked about how being a sore loser can kind of tie into that.
I was just speaking, we spoke about how much success you've been in, and that encouraged me to know I'm in the right circle. Here she come with this. Yes, always succeeding.
I'm still trying to make it. I'm still learning just like you are. I'm just trying to bring awareness to what I have learned and what I've been taught.
But ain't no hate in my blood when it comes to my sis.
I mean, my thing is people that are rising to success, I honestly look at it as helpful to me. It's inspiration to me. It inspires me to want to do better. Like, I'll be honest with you, my kids, ended up going to a school. It was one of the breakthrough schools. And before they went to that school, I had never heard of like the red, the green, like what day they could be on. Green was like the best day. Then you can move down to like yellow, which was like, hey, you doing a little too much. And then red was like, hey, I got a phone call home and you tripping. Yeah. I never knew that. She was doing that with her kids, and our kids are like back to back. So her oldest is like a year or so older than my oldest, and then her middle son is like 2 years older than my youngest son, and then it go her son, then she has another son, and then my youngest son is like a year younger than her youngest son. So they kind of go back to back like that, kind of like steps. And I had no idea, and I'm like, that's a good idea. So when people do things that I'm not doing, or when they're doing something that's great and I see them doing something great, it inspires me to want to not necessarily bite, but I'm like, I want to go do that. I want to be better. Like, I have no desire to try to be like nobody else, because I'm me, I'm pretty dope. Yeah. But it inspires me to want to either do better, learn more so I can do better, or to teach others how to do better. Yeah. So
definitely put your twist on it. Excuse me. You can put your twist on it. So you whether they call it biting or not, a hater would, you're on your rise to success. So therefore you're gonna do, I could do this, but I could do this way. One, because you are you, and your people is your people, so you're going to gear to it and get what you need to out of it. So they can call it hater or not, but I'm on my rise to success because I saw something good and want to implement it.
Right. Mm-hmm. So my thing is, if you're being a hater, you might want to check on that, because you might have some traumas in your life that you're not grieving properly with, and that's why you're angry. Some people call it hangry. Like, I was hangry. I could be hangry because if I'm hungry and then it's hot outside, it's like 80-something degrees. It's 84 outside, y'all. Mm-hmm. And I'm hungry, and now I don't like nobody. Nobody can drive. Y'all getting on my nerves. I'm not waiting. I need my drink now. Like, I'm hangry. So hangry can be a form of being a hater. Yes. I'm not worried about nobody's rise to success. I'm just worried about my food, or my drink. So, but today we're going to touch on how you can try to obtain P.T.S.D. I know that sounds crazy, right? P.T.S.D. That's post-traumatic stress disorder. Nah. There's other meanings for it too.
Yes.
So our goal is, like you said, you were a traumatized human being, a thug, who might have become a hater because you're mad or hangry about someone else's success. So rise to success. So you are always, biting off that. And now we're going to talk about PTSD. And PTSD are those on the pursuit to self-discipline. PTSD. And what is self-discipline? What is self-discipline? Like, what are some things that ways we can seek in our everyday life on how to seek that self-discipline? And my son actually has to write this out. Like, when he's in school and he's acting up, showing his little behind, he has to come home and write this definition. So if you ask him what the word, what self-discipline means, actually it's one of his 5 keys to success in the breakthrough school that he goes to and that our kids went to. But what is self-discipline? The first thing he'll say is being accountable for one's actions. And one of the other words he has to write is respect and accountability, and how respect and accountability go hand in hand. You can't respect somebody and not be accountable for your actions. You can't respect your environment without being accountable. You can't, just certain things you can't do if you're not self-disciplined. You can't even respect yourself. You can't respect anybody else without that self-discipline. So self-discipline is just being able to take accountability for your actions and being able to check yourself in the moment. So we've all had it before. Somebody messed up Verizon. If you got Verizon, you had to show some self-discipline at one point in time when you called Verizon. Or if you got Spectrum, you had to show some self-discipline one time dealing with them, because your internet didn't went out once or twice.
And customer service is reciprocated, and just drawing back. You give it to take it. So why would you call someone knowing you need the help and then be rude to them?
Yeah.
That's the transfer energy, and you're not going to, ultimately, you're going to get the answer you want, or it might be a snotty answer, or they might have you going to run around simply because you weren't aware to have a better composure and an attitude going into a situation where you need the help.
Yeah.
So, self-discipline.
And energy is really big, and that's why when I'm dealing with people, I've been a supervisor, I've been in customer service, and when dealing with people and being a mom in general, you have to have that self-discipline, because it's some things you want to say that you can't say. It's some things you want to do that you just can't do. It's some things that's going to happen that you just are not cool with. And so you have to, especially when you're on your rise, if you're one of them people that rose and got some success in your life, and you went from eating Vienna sausages all the time, not knocking nobody to eat Viennas, because there's some people that love that Viennas, you know, but I'm saying if you went from that to eating steak every day, you're rising. You know what I'm saying? If you can, if that's something like, don't get me wrong, I still eat fried bologna sandwiches. Them are my things. I actually want one.
And potato chips?
See, I don't eat mustard,
but
I will put some mayo on there and some cheese
and maybe a little lettuce.
I'm still gonna eat my fried bologna. That's like one of my favorite. Man, one of my favorite meals is SpaghettiOs, hot dogs, and a grilled cheese sandwich.
Not beans and weenies.
Man, that's one of my favorite. I eat that right now to this day. But don't get me wrong, I'll go get some sharks in a minute too. You know what sharks is. You know, you're from Cleveland, you know what sharks is. But yeah, so just being able to have that, so to pursue your pursuit to self-discipline. Yes. In your pursuit to self-discipline, you're gonna come along the way. And my son is working on this now. He's my youngest one. He's really working on it. And it's just being able to control yourself in moments that is going to require that self-discipline. So when you know you have something to lose, self-discipline is a little easier. Because you like,
I'm not trying to,
I don't want to lose that.
From road rage. You don't want to go around the car not paying attention. Boom, you done smack into an accident. You dang near lose a life, your car, or your license, anything. So there's a lot to lose when you're not in that right mindset.
So we talked about cognitive biases and how it affects your perception and limits your views. And like being confident in your wrong. That is a limitation in itself. It causes a lot of conflict. So cognitive biases can cause you to not have that self-discipline. We wanted to bring it a little bit lighter today because we've been talking about traumatization, and we still want to bring awareness to that. We were talking about haters. Now we're talking about PTSD. We want to shed light to how you can become not just, you don't have to keep being a traumatized human being. You don't have to keep hating on everybody's rise to success. You can gain the pursuit, or you can try to pursue some self-discipline, and it's gonna be hard. It's a powerful skill for building resilience. Like it's a power. It's very, it's gonna be hard. I got my times now where I be losing it. Like I didn't have my times where I wanted to lose. Then I think back and I'm like, I got a lot to lose. Like who really want to be bailing me out? Like I can bail myself out, but
well, put yourself in a position.
Am I gonna have a job?
Yeah.
Am I gonna have a company? You know what I'm saying? Like you have to look at those things, and when you have something to lose, it's a little bit easier to gain self-discipline.
Yeah.
But even when you don't, like that's why you gotta celebrate those small victories. And don't be confident in your wrong. Don't be wrong and then being like, and go find another friend that's okay with you being wrong. So y'all being wrong together. They're like, yeah, girl, you right. Nah, don't do that.
Right.
Or no, you should do that. Yeah, you should go ahead and do this. You gotta find those friends that will help you and tell you when you're wrong. I actually posted something today that says having good friends that you can, your friend should be able to say something to you and check you, not in a negative dogging way, calling you a B, but your friends will be like, hey man, you gotta, like, that's not cool. You gotta chill out with that. And if your friend can't check you like that, or your family member can't check you like that, you're not on the pursuit to self-discipline. And you might be a traumatized human being unable to grieve. You might be a thug. Because somebody should be able to say something to you and you can take it and you can leave it there, or you can take it and you can use it. So that's your pursuit to self-discipline, because everything doesn't deserve a reaction. In that pursuit is we're gonna use another big word. We used cognitive bias last time. Our big word of the day today is
Metacognition.
Metacognition. I know that sounds crazy, don't it? Look it up. I know everybody. If you a Googler like me, you done already looked it up. You like metacognition.
We in the world of know. If you're looking at this, all you gotta do is swipe left or right and type it in.
Type it in.
You go. Yes.
Or you can get on your computer and do it. Or if you got another phone, because in the world, a lot of us got two phones or got an iPad. I got two phones, one for the. I'm gonna leave that alone because I don't want Kevin Gates coming for me. But
right.
But metacognition. Metacognition, and it's just basically awareness and the understanding of one's own thought process. That's going to be key for self-discipline, because if you're not aware of your thoughts and you're not aware of how you learn and you're not aware of the things that trigger you, self-discipline is going to be hard. Or if you're on the road of denial can put you really far back on that road to
growth, to success. And piggybacking off of that, just being aware of yourself, like you say, knowing your own thought process. If you know that it's time to study for a test, or you have to go to the grocery store, you're going into an avenue where your mind has to be at its sharpest. In a sense, you want to push out the things that are not conducive in that now, so that way you can be your great in that moment.
Don't succumb to the distractions. Some things are meant to come to distraction on purpose as a test. If you keep getting distracted, and that means you're going through the same lesson all the time, and you're like, I always do this. Well, that means do something different.
Yeah, because you're going to keep getting tested until it's like, wait, hold on, I did this. And you kept doing that same thing. What can I do different? Oh, just walking away.
They say that's the definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over again and then expecting a different result. Like, that is insane. Like, if I open the refrigerator and nothing's there, and then I open the refrigerator again and nothing's there, and then I open the refrigerator again.
Summertime kids live off that.
I mean, it's like
shopping this week.
It's
y'all
like
should have drunk all the juice.
You opened the refrigerator 5 times and the same thing was in there, which you thought was gonna change.
Right.
It's insanity.
Yes.
You thought something was
not
gonna
a magic
fly.
box, just a freezer box. Right. And transport in.
McDonald's was sitting right there in front of you. No.
Nope.
You got to do something different. So maybe go cook something. Maybe go to the store. Right. Uber Eats, DoorDash. Shots out. You might get me. You never know.
Right.
But so metacognition is just knowing your strengths and your weaknesses as a learner, knowing your thought process, knowing how to change that. And we have a lot of ways. Like, when we went ham on this subject again, whenever we bring any type of information to you, just know that the data that we're bringing, we've gotten it from somewhere. So information will always be below, links to how we get the information or links to look stuff up, just so you know we're not like self-made, proclaimed, like, no, we are geniuses. No, we still working on this too.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So thinking about how you think can help. And then one way they say is start when you're a child. So if you have some kids now and you know that you got some work to do, maybe have your kids help you with the work and y'all work together to overcome. Because a lot of us, we talked about on the first episode, a lot of us having mental health issues. And a lot of us have mental health issues and we don't go seek the help. So it's hard to get that self-discipline and to pursue to get to any type of self-discipline because we're not getting the help we need. Right. So I encourage you to get some help, talk to someone, not just your friend, because your friend gonna get tired of you talking about the same thing over and over again.
Nothing's wrong with psychiatrists either. You're not making that appointment or a pastor at church or going to the YMCA. There's so many
youth
silent
groups,
resources,
parent groups.
Yes,
it's so many parent groups. You can go to your library, your local library. Always has any type of resources for you. And most of the stuff is confidential. So as long as you ain't like
hurting anyone or
yourself,
crime,
then you'll be fine.
Yeah,
you'll be safe.
Yes.
So just making sure you have that meta. So how to be more meta. We gonna say that how you can be more meta.
I like that.
Meta. Okay. How to be more meta. So basically, meta. The root word meta is beyond or on top of. So meta, how to be beyond or on top of. And then the term comes in many forms, so such as reflecting on one's ways of thinking and knowing generally your problem solving skills. And just the knowledge, your cognition. So like we talked about cognitive bias.
Yes.
If you only learn one way, and I read a post, I actually reposted it. I read a post today and it said, it's okay to have a difference of opinion. So you might, something that I think is disrespectful might not be disrespectful for you. One, because you might have lived with it longer and been introduced to it longer. And two, because it might be okay in your eyes. Whereas it's okay to be different. I ain't saying we can't be friends, but I'm saying if I let you know something is disrespectful and you keep disrespecting me, then I'm going to have to change the environment a little bit. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just subtract myself from the environment. I ain't going to stop you from being you. You might be great. You might grow to be great. But for me, if it's disrespectful and you continue to do it and you don't even try to make a change, for me, I'm going to have to remove myself from the situation. Yeah. And it's okay. I reposted that today, and it's just saying, like, everybody's different. Respect people's differences. Yes. But at the same time, if I let you know that something is disrespectful to me, just like if you let me know something disrespectful to you, I'm going to genuinely be like, dang, my bad. Like, I wasn't even...
Right.
Yeah, I had matter of fact, I think I brought this up to you one time. Like,
empathy.
Yeah, I brought this up to you one time. Like, we went to Twinsburg. We go and shout them out all the time. So... we going to Twinsburg. It was like a rites of passage. At the end of the year, we would have like water balloon fights, or the seniors would like kind of like jump the younger kids, the freshman boys in. So the senior boys would kind of jump on the freshman boys. And at the time when I was a senior, my little brother was a freshman. So he tried to throw my name out there, and I'm like, that don't work today, son. Like, I had his back no matter what. He didn't have a little brother. He didn't have an older brother. He had an older sister. So if he got into some drama, he coming to get his older sister. But they already knew his older sister didn't play. So, and I had a cousin that was the same way. She was in 12th grade. I was in 9th grade. So we all kind of like went to school like that. And so this particular year, it was my senior year. And the senior boys, they threw all types of pranks. They had mice in the, I think I'm telling on this, but they had mice in the girls' bathroom, stink bombs everywhere. I ain't say no names, so I'm not snitching, but shouts out to the 2003 class, Twinsburg High School. It was crazy. And then we had a water balloon fight. But what we did was we got out of school early because we seniors, we gone. Yes. Man, we had some friends that had pickup trucks. I'm talking about filled that whole back bed up with water balloons and went up there and was bombing folks. Yeah. To me, that's good, wholesome, clean fun, right? I mentioned that to someone, and they was like, oh, we wasn't going to go for that. We would have beat them up. And it's like, it was just fun water balloons. Like, but to them, that was disrespectful. Yeah. For me, that was just fun. If it would have happened to me, if my cousin who was in 12th grade, all of her friends did the same thing to us, we would have just had fun. Yeah. My brother came walking in my grandmother's house soaking wet. Yeah,
I'm going to say we took on to the rest of the evening. Yeah. So we at home. Now we can have
we all in the heights. We all in the heights. And we
up
just,
and down the streets.
We up and down the Case, Cambridge, Booked. We all up and down them streets just water ballooning like crazy. And nobody's parents tripped. Don't come in and out of my house. That was the main thing that they said. Other than that, like, take them shoes off at the door. My brother came home soaking wet. My grandma didn't say not one thing to him, but, you know, take them clothes off. Like, put them in the closet room. Like,
so go ahead, get yourself together.
But the person I mentioned it to, they were like, they're from a more urban area, and they said, oh, we would have beat them up, and we was getting money, and we be flying. I'm like, I'm pretty sure we was like, see, we were kids when we were supposed to be kids.
I was just, yeah.
So, we might have had J's on and Nike's on and all that, but we had fun. We were all athletes. A lot of us were athletes, too. So, that's fun. That's clean fun for
athletes us. And all the games and stuff.
Right. So, we had fun. It was fun to us.
Yeah.
So, again, that would have been disrespectful there, but for us, it was good, clean, wholesome fun. It was a rites of passage. I'm pretty sure my brother's class did the same thing when they graduated. My sister... My little brother, he was way younger, but my sister was in school. The brother I was just in school when he was a freshman. He used to throw my name out there all the time. Stop that. But I'm like, I can't say you this time. This is a whole different ball game. So, it's just you knowing yourself, and then meta memory is defined as knowing about memory and your strategies. So strategically thinking about things, and in the pursuit to self-discipline, you're going to have to know your meta memory. You're going to have to remember situations in the past and say, I can't deal with it the same way I dealt with it before. That's going to help you grow.
Yes.
So It's just your mindset. You have to learn to replace those negative, sneaky little voices that's in your head, like, nah, you can't do it and stuff like that, and learn to change that. And it's very important in kids. They say kids with ADHD, especially like adults that haven't been diagnosed with ADHD, they struggle to stay on task and might feel anxious about like writing a long essay or taking a test or just sitting somewhere for a long period of time. One is because their attention is they have an attention deficit disorder, right? Yeah. So their attention span, so they might need to take more breaks. So being having metacognition and having that meta memory, you know, it's not that you're bad at tests, it's not that you're bad at writing, it's just that you might not have, you might not have that patience to sit there. So you might have to take more breaks. And then you have to really like break down, why am I feeling like this? Yeah. So it's not just, I'm not a good learner. No, why do you feel like this? Yeah. Why? What makes you feel like this? Whenever you feel like this, what's happening? Yeah. That way it becomes aware, so you can start being like, you know what? Anytime this happens, this is pretty much how I act. This is how I react.
Yeah, because we are our biggest critics, and if you're in your mind too much, it becomes a disorder. And you're steady putting more trauma on yourself and your cognitive thinking skills to the point where you're, like Ebony said, you're going to continue to replay and have the same events happen over and over again and don't have a true result because you keep going in it in the same fashion.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So metacognitive thinking teaches us about ourselves. We can help others learn. It's not about having a learning issue or disorder, but you can help yourself learning and gain those skills by just asking your question and changing those negatives to I can't to how can I.
Yes.
And that's why I said a few episodes ago, like, I don't think nothing's really hard, because my whole thought process is it's going to be hard at first, but how can I do it?
Yeah.
What's the steps I can take, even if I got to take smaller steps? Like, we've been planning this vlog podcast for 2-3 years now. Mm-hmm. And we had been said something about it. We just thought we were funny, and we said we was going to tape ourselves, and we had a lot to say. But then it turned into something so much better and different that it took a while. But it wasn't that we can't do it. It's just, okay, what's the steps to get there now? So once you take a step back and say, okay, well, how do I get there? How do I get to this point? How do I get to the point where I can actually do this? How do we start this? We didn't have a place, we was looking for a building. It's like, we don't need a building. We found other resources, so it's like, you can tape anywhere. Everyone loves to look at a video when someone's in the car. So you're going to see us in the car one day driving. Mm-hmm. Don't be mad if we hopping out. We might be dashing or something. You just never know. We like to
multitask.
We do.
Yes.
That's that ADHD. Don't tell nobody. So one of the most powerful byproducts of metacognitive thinking is increased self-regulation, which is self-discipline. Yes. So self-regulation, you're learning how to regulate your own self. So you're learning how to calm yourself down in situations, learning how to walk away from situations, learning how to say, you know what, I'm not going to let this get to me.
Yeah.
I had a problem with that. And again, like I said, I came from a black household. My parents, like, whatever goes in this house stays in this house. And they ain't giving you no help because ain't nothing wrong with you. You just sit down and be quiet. That's how we diagnosed it back in the day. Like, ain't nothing wrong with you. Just sit down and be quiet. Now, there's so many scientists that are bringing awareness to that we are learning from so many different sources that, no, this could be an issue. This could be an issue.
Yes. Very much so. And when we continue to open up our minds to new and different ways of thinking and learning and researching, it helps you work through that disorder of everything being so traumatic. When someone talks to you, it's not so judgmental. It's coming from a great place, somewhere where that person saw something in you and wanted to bring it out into you, and it's for you to not always be quick to respond, in a sense.
Right. I had a word for it, because it's like, you have to learn to hear things for what is being said and not the pain that you're feeling. Yeah. That's where that traumatized human being comes into being. Yeah. That's where that hater comes into being, because you don't want nobody saying nothing to you. Yeah. Oh, they think they better than me. And really, you're hearing it from your anger and your hurt and not hearing it for what it's being said.
And you always have a defeated mindset. Everything's so, it's a bad day, it's a bad day. Well, how? We only 10 minutes into the day. You found your shoe. You brushed your teeth. You washed your face. Your clothes are already out. Oh, you had your backup shirt ready. Everything is not always a defeat. So with being aware of different solutions in your household, before you even take yourself out into the world, it starts right there. Being aware and having that self-discipline. Oh, don't get angry at the whole household and get slammed up. What the door do to you?
That door ain't moved.
Right.
That door ain't
so you really want to have verifiable facts of your issues versus opinions, because opinions don't matter.
Don't be confident in your wrong.
Yeah, verifiable facts. The fact is, we're here after naysayers or non-naysayers, invisible haters or not. We're here. You know, so it's very important to be your best you.
Right.
Even when there are naysayers. If you have that idea, we can only execute it.
Right.
You know, no one's going to execute this idea for us but us.
Correct. Correct. So, as Steph mentioned, it's self-discipline, and your self-discipline can lead to self-regulation. And being able to self-regulate can help you manage your experiences that otherwise will overwhelm you, to make you like, okay, I could deal with this now. And don't get me wrong, at this age, I ain't telling you my age, I've learned to do this, and it's becoming better. And the way you can do it is asking open-ended questions to your children, to yourself. You got a spouse at home, because a lot of, I ain't even gonna go there, but I know, you guys sometimes y'all get mad quick. Don't blame. Take the blame. That's self-discipline in itself. Don't blame it. Non-blaming, like taking the blame out of it and just saying what really is. Say your feelings.
Yeah, say your truth and your part from coming to it. I piggyback off that just on a side story. By my observation, I got highly annoyed, and I have learned within the past year to not be so irate.
Okay.
And that was due to having a great partner, and then also not creating more trauma than I already caused to myself, my children, and my household. Being honest. So
trauma bleeds on everybody. It's not just you. Don't think that your trauma that you're going through, nobody else feels, because you're bleeding on others too.
Yeah, you definitely have to check yourself. And what I did was I sat back and I was like, I said, no. I looked back, I said, no, I did everything right. I said, I observed. I'm like, what the exact issue was. And I'm like, man, we could do this a little bit cohesive. It don't have to be every man for themselves. And in the same token, a few hours and days went by. I said, the old Stephanie would have then wrote paragraphs, would have been irate, acted a fool just because it was a release. That's and that wasn't a release I needed. I'm like, because my environment, I'm in a customer service work environment. I still got a job to do. I still got hours to put in. I don't even know how you're feeling today. Yeah. We didn't even, are you okay? So I was like, I was so glad that nothing transpired in anger.
Okay.
To the point where it's like, it kind of smoothed over with the words still being exchanged. They were respectful. No bonus points, but it's growth.
Yeah.
It's growth, and based off of the research we've been doing and my own research, post-traumatic growth.
Yeah.
I got that from one of great YouTubers, and he has his own channel.
It'll be below. We'll have some information
Billy
below.
Carson, awesome. And it was post-traumatic growth. So not only did you surpass all the disorders and the traumatic event, you changed so much as we did. Traumatic, like condemned homes, this, lack of cars, but all types of different events. This is my growth. Yeah. So post-traumatic, I'm living in my truth and in my growth daily by recognizing
every possible solution. Reps. Told you hear it, you say it, get a shirt.
Yes.
But so PTSD, our PTSD is pursuit of self-discipline, but we don't want to forget that PTSD.
I was very proud of myself.
But we don't want to forget that PTSD really stands for post-traumatic stress disorder. We're just saying try not to succumb to your environment and things that you've seen, so you don't.
Yeah, so it's a positive negative. So we know the negative all this time. Yeah. And just as it was thugs, well, they're traumatized humans unable to grieve. We don't want them to be street thugs and killing and all the violence is acting a fool or being a hater. We want to see people rise to their success. We want to see these humans that can't grieve be able to grieve, and then most importantly, PTSD. We want you to be able to pursue your self-discipline. Yes. So you can self-regulate. Yes. Like Steph said, she was solution focused. She was process oriented. She was process oriented, and she was being patient. And that's what's going to take for you to get that self-discipline is open-ended questions, non-blaming, solution focused, process oriented, and being patient can help you get to those self-discipline. So so you want to use those, and if you can use those skills, if you feel like you're mastering that or you're doing better with that, help your kids. You don't know where your kids are. You don't know how they're dealing with things. Some of them might be quiet. You might want to watch out for them. Them be the little Unibombers. Now, I'm not talking about your kids. I'm just saying. I think little known fact, don't be the ones that had a list. That be having a list. But you have to learn to be patient, and it's hard because we have to learn sometimes that we don't change the kid. We have to change our approach to the kid. We have to change our parenting to the kid to make it better. So just taking that procedural knowledge and just trying to make a strategy. And so the different knowledges that you can have, 3 types of metacognitive knowledge is declarative knowledge, procedural knowledge, and strategy knowledge. And if you center your thought process and your self-discipline around those, and we'll talk about them more next week. We're going to come back with another word for you, another acronym. Yes. It can help you in changing those things. So just know your strengths. You got to identify your own learning style. And they have all types of things you can go on online and say, what's my learning style? Type that in and they'll give you a list of stuff that you can type in. You got to start planning for a task. Like I tell my son all the time, he just does stuff. Like today is hot, it's 84 degrees. And when we got home, I was going to go water the grass. So I turned the sprinkler on. He just started running through the sprinkler. I'm like, you got your phone? You got your keys, you got your wallet, you in your school clothes. I mean, school's out, but still, you in school-related clothes that you could be wearing somewhere else. Like, go put on the transition. Man. So you got to gather the organization and the materials, arrange and study study space, and schedule time to do certain things. Monitor your mistakes, evaluate the task and how it's success, and then evaluate the success of your learning strategy and adjust. So one of the things I tell my son is the biggest thing that we're learning, and I think I mentioned before, is how to make better decisions. And there's 4 steps he's only 10, but so it's 4 big steps. And one is to stop, to think, it's 5, sorry. Stop, think, you have to evaluate alternatives. So his first mind is always something crazy, like jump off the building. Okay, what's another alternative to jumping off the building? Jump off the stairs? Yeah, a little louder. He's still jumping, but then you act, then you reevaluate. That's the part he always forgets. He'll do the first 4. He always skips the last one, which is like, okay, now that you did all of that, was it a good decision or a bad decision? And that's the part where we always sometimes miss too, is we'll do things and we'll just do them and say, that's just what it is. No, you can reevaluate and say, could I did something better? That's being metacognitive. Yes. That's having more meta. That's getting yourself to be self-disciplined and self-regulated. So use that metacognition today. Tell somebody you learned a new word today. Metacognition. Yeah. So, again, I'm Ebony Douglas, and I represent ENDT's Ebony Onyx. And I'm Stephanie, representing I'm Aware.
And together we are Group Economics. Get your apparel. Like us. Follow us. We're on Instagram. We're on TikTok. Facebook soon. YouTube. You watching us now. But yeah, reach out if you want to be a part of any of the things that we're doing when it comes to, we'll be posting on our Instagram page. And also you can email us if you want to participate in any of the events that we're doing. If you want to come on and talk with us, if you have a topic that's related to this and you want to come and talk about it, or you want to you wanna play devil's advocate to what we learn? Come on down.
Yes.
We're willing to talk. We love to talk, as you can see. So like us, join us. I hope you come in and watch us again. We'll have more different shirts on.
Yes.
Come get a shirt if you want one. This is the keys to success.
Yes.
So thank you again, and we hope you have a great day.
Thank you.